Hey everybody. Sorry that took me a minute. I didn't realize there was so many things that I had to do right before I could go live. Things have changed a little bit since the last time. So I apologize that I'm a little late. Um, this is going to be recorded, so if you're not able to catch it live, there will definitely be the replay posted a little bit later today. I hope everybody's doing great on this Monday after our holiday week. I always think it's kind of gets me all discombobulated a little bit when we have a holiday in the middle of the week, right? Because it's like some people don't even you get the weekend before or the weekend after and then that day off. So it kind of screws up our whole week in a way, but it was fun. I hope everybody had some time to relax and enjoy family or friends if that's what you like to do. Today is my first Monday musings. So, just to say a little bit about this, I was meditating one day, and I'm just getting started meditating again. It's like a kind of an in and out type of deal with me. I like really get in a groove, and then I kind of fall out of it, and then I get back in. But whenever I do, and there's other times too, but I get all these ideas that like drop in and stuff, and so one of them was I was trying to think of like a name or whatever because I knew I wanted to start going live again. And that's when the name dropped in and I was like, I know what the word muse means, but I'm like musings, I don't it's not really a word I would normally use. But I looked it up and it's like talking about ideas and things like that and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's perfect. Thanks." So I thank the universe and now we've got Monday musings with me, Becky. If you don't know me, I'm Becky Woods. I grew up in a small farm town. I'm still living there in the Midwest. I am a Reiki master. I've done a lot of studying and learning about energy. And so I started my business Energies a couple years ago, and I've slowly been growing it while I work full time in the medical field as a lab tech. Um, I have participated in I always say the word wrong, collaborative effort books. So I've, you know, written a chapter in two different books. So I'm an author. I have my website, energiesinc.com, if you're interested in looking that up. I have a lot of free complimentary downloads. I have a free masterclass there also, and some mantras, things like that. Go check it out. And I keep trying to put new resources on there just to help. Some are paid resources, some are free resources. And then if you ever want to work with me as a coach, I'm finishing up the my coaching certification. And so I am available for that as well. And you can find those details on my website. And I teach Reiki classes. I hate to be my own commercial, but just go check out my website if you're interested and see if there's anything there that might interest you or be helpful for you. Okay, so for my first Monday musings, I'm like, okay, how do I start this? Because everything I work with has to do with energy. Well, everything I feel like, in my opinion, has to do with energy. And that's why I work with energy. I feel like I'm an energy practitioner. That's what I like to label myself because I do so many different things with energy that it's hard to put it in a box, right? So I decided to start the Monday musings with how to protect and maintain your energy. I'm going to do a little background just because I know I have lots of different levels of people that will be watching. Some are probably very aware of energy and have their own practices, and maybe they'll learn a few new tips that they didn't know, or maybe I'll remind you about something that you forgot. And then there's some of you that are starting from scratch, right? So basically, what I want to say first of all with energy is I want you to imagine that you have like this kind of like bubble around you, right? I don't want to use good morning, Mary. I don't want to use like I keep wanting to say force field, but I don't want you to think of it like a shield at this point, okay? I just want you to think of it as like, your energy bubble. So, like, say if you're sad or angry or whatever and you're having intense emotions, this energy bubble can spread out farther or come in more close to you. Okay, think of it like a silhouette almost. And you can think of it as an aura if you know what an aura is. People can learn to see colors around your body in your energy body. Okay, so this is your energy body, and we can have colors, it can have patterns like wave patterns. And so if you've heard of the word aura, just think even that can expand out. I mean, 5 feet. Some people that are really good at broadcasting their energy can get it out even further. Okay. So the whole idea behind this, me telling you this, is that let's just say even your arm's width, right? Let's say all the way around you, your arm's width. Okay. How many other people are you that close to in a day? And Mary, thinking about you popping up this morning makes me think about when I drove truck. And in that way, driving truck was really good for me because there was nobody. There was nobody else, just me in my truck, right? I always said it was my glass office because I had my windshield and my windows, and nobody else was in there. Um, Granted, we still had a CB and things like that that can affect your energy, but I didn't have other beings in my energy. And another cool point about when I drove gravel truck was I worked around rocks and dirt all day, every day. And it was so grounding for me. And that's exactly what I needed at that point in my life. Um, I didn't realize that at first, but I realized that towards the end. I'm like, yep, I really needed this. And so I had my own little bubble where hardly anybody was in there messing around, messing around with my energy. And so then I started to really find out what was my energy. Okay. And the reason I say my energy is because whenever you have people, I feel like it can affect you in many ways, but the most obvious maybe is when they're within your energy bubble, okay? So, for instance, the thing I think that's really important and interesting to think about this is when you're a child, right? When you're a child, you can't talk, you can't walk, right? So, I believe all children are born feelers. Empaths is another word people use for that a lot. And so if they're hungry, all they can do is cry, right? To get your attention. And then we as parents or caregivers try to figure out why they're crying, right? You like check the diaper, then you check the see if they're hungry, and then if they just ate, you check if they have to burp, right? So they're just feeling. They're feeling. They're like, something's not right. My stomach doesn't feel right. I'm hungry. Or maybe I have gas bubbles and it hurts, right? Um, but what we don't think about is that who is in there, who is in their energy bubble, right? They're doing studies now that tells us that even in the womb, that they can basically absorb the emotions of the mom and anyone within the mom's energy field because they're also within the baby's energy field. So it kind of makes sense if you've ever heard about, like, they talk about the oldest child, the middle child, the youngest child, and how they have different personalities and stuff? If you think about it, like, when I had my first kid, I was nervous. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna know how to be a mom. Like, am I gonna be able to keep this little human alive? Like, I don't even know what I'm doing, right? Like, a lot of first time mothers are really nervous, and they get kind of hyper vigilant, oh, some of them, they have to learn all this stuff, and so that they can get prepared and um, feel prepared, which you're never really prepared, right, for your first kid, but you can do your best. Um, I don't know if it rings true for you guys, but if you're watching, when you watch this, if it strikes a chord with you, please leave a comment, because I feel like when I go back and think about where my mindset was and what my life was like and what people were around me during each of my pregnancies, I can tell that my kids totally took on those personas as they grew up. And that is from soaking up those vibes from all the people around them. Um, and like I said, each one's a little different because I was at a different place in my life, right? Like, and even if I wasn't worried, like say with the middle child, I just had my oldest and youngest. But I wasn't worried so much about my youngest because I realized, after you have your first one, you kind of calm down a little bit, right? Um, and My youngest is just carefree, super big heart, compassionate as can be, but doesn't really stress out too much about anything unless it's serious, right? And so you can start, they're doing studies now called epigenetics if you're interested in looking at it, that talks more about that. But um, I'm just giving you that as an example so that when I want you to think of this bubble, and I want you to think of it for yourself first, but I want you then to think about it for the other people around you, because as parents especially, children growing up start out as feelers. And so say mom and dad are fighting, they're not fighting in front of the kids because they don't want their kids to worry. I'm here to tell you that those kids pick up on the vibe that you're angry or sad or stressed. You don't have to say it or act like it. They pick up the vibe. And unfortunately, what usually happens then is that since the feelings that they're feeling don't match what's going on with the people around them, they just assume that they're their feelings. And they don't know why they're feeling that way. They just know they're feeling that way. And they take it on as their own. So while I understand the whole concept, because I did the same thing when I was a parent of not fighting and doing that kind of thing around your children, I'm learning now it really doesn't work that way. In fact, it probably just confuses them more, because I remember growing up and always telling my parents I was stressed out. And they're like, what do you have to be stressed out about? You're just a kid, right? Well, I don't think I really was stressed out. I was just picking up on their stress. And so if I would have been able to process that as a kid and be like, oh yeah, that's not mine, that's theirs, um, things might not have been so confusing, right? I know this is a lot all at once, but I'm just trying to give you an overview of um, why I'm so passionate about teaching about it and why I believe it's so important. And I'm just want to pass on the things that I have learned to be true or believe to be true. So I'm hoping some of these things will help you. Um, so you have your energy bubble, okay? So I want you to think about who and what you let into this bubble. Even if you just go out an arm's length, okay? There's certain people that you might let in closer, right? Like friends or family. And I want you to think about how you feel when they're in your energy, okay? It can be as simple as that. Like for me, my grandchildren, I feel so happy and giddy and excited and just full of love when I'm around my grandchildren, right? Um, they're just so perfect and little and perfect little human beings. And so that's good. That's good. Those are the energies that feel good, and those are going to help boost your energy, okay? Cuz their energy fields mesh with your energy fields. Okay? But then if you have like that one, I'm trying to think of an example. Like say you have that one friend that only, they like to come over a lot and you're such a good listener. And so it's almost like a therapy session every time they come over, right? Don't get me wrong. I do feel like that's part of a friendship, right? Like, because we should be able to talk about our feelings, and it's nice to have a safe person to do that with. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about are the people that walk in, they just start splurging all their yuck shit in their life all over you, and then leave. And thank you because they feel so much better. Okay? If you are not um, feeling like it's a reciprocated deal, like you can do this too to them and feel better, or maybe you're just like, God, I love you as a friend, but I just can't handle listening to all this negativity, right? Like I had a friend once that it was all this negativity and all they liked to do was bitch about it, but they never really did anything to change it or try to make it better, right? So then I started getting annoyed. Like, I'm like, oh, why am I listening to this over and over and you never do nothing about it? Like, you know what I mean? You can just get to where it's like, ick, not good. Okay, so then their energy is merging with your energy. Now you start to make choices, right? And you need to start to set boundaries if you want to start focusing on your energy health. So, in this in this live, I'm hoping to teach you some techniques to help you with that. Setting boundaries and protecting and maintaining your energy in your energy bubble, okay? I'm going to tell you about a lot of things that not just people, but a lot of things that can influence your energy. Things that can negatively and positively influence your energy so that you can be more aware. And hopefully, um, I believe just being more aware and setting the intention to start a practice of energy awareness and energy health. I'm hoping that it will help you in so many ways. It's helped me in more ways than I can even imagine because once you physical health, mental health, all that, once you start getting your energy health um, robust, I guess, for lack of a better word, it just seems it's like a more minute level, like more of a quantum level. It like starts to change your health on like a molecular level, and it affects all your other health in a positive way when you can focus on having good energy health. So let me start with, I'm going to just kind of go through some things that can affect your energy. Colors have play a great role in energy. And we are going to have a Monday musings about chakras and I'll talk more about those then, but colors kind of come into play and have a lot to do with the chakras too. But if you like find yourself wanting to wear like say a lot of a yellow color or a lot of a orange color, there's reasons for that. Like your energy body is like, I need more yellow, I need more orange. Um, if you intuitively pick out your clothes, okay? There's a lot of people that don't intuitively pick out their clothes, but there's a lot of people that do and don't realize it. So, say you're in an office, like for me, I'm in a medical setting. Well, in my medical setting, in my department, we have to wear gray scrubs. Okay, gray, not my favorite. But the reason why we wear gray is because when people come to our department, they're usually in a high stress state, right? And I think somebody already got the seafoam green color or the steel blue color. So the next closest calming color they could come up with was gray. And so because you don't want somebody to come in to a high stress situation and then be slammed with like these bold colors like red and purple and things like that because that can heighten their stress levels. So gray is one of those calming colors, okay? So in your home, the clothes you wear, the car you drive, how you decorate your office or the environment that you're in a lot every day, look at your colors. Like, this is why when people start feeling kind of down in the dumps, they will redecorate or paint or buy new curtains or change their wardrobe, spice things up a bit, right? It's because they're in need of color. And color can be very therapeutic, and there's tons of information online about what colors are for what. And like I said, we'll get into that a little bit with the chakras. But if you find yourself being drawn to different colors than you're normally used to, there's probably a reason. And colors are therapeutic. So say you're like, man, I never wear yellow, but I really like that yellow top, and then you're like, no, I'm not yellow. You know, if you're getting called to a certain color, I would honor that and I would go through with it. I'm a firm believer that color is huge. Like I'm trying to do just a real chill vibe today. I mean, that's how I'm feeling. So I've got like this kind of gray and a little bit of pink, and even my picture that I bought last week is more of chill colors, right? So colors are huge. So start paying attention to your colors. If you're stressed out, like say you have anxiety, or say, I would even go so far to say as if you have kids or family members that seem to be really high strung, stressed out, or even anger issues, look at the colors in their room. Like if if a kid's got anger issues or maybe hyper or stressed out, look into these colors because a lot of parents don't realize it, and like they'll let a kid paint their room red. I don't really think anybody's room should be red. Red can be a really high stress color and it can bring out a lot of intense feelings, and it can also be very therapeutic in small doses. But for teenagers, for instance, who spend their whole lifetime in their bedroom, I would never suggest like red. Um, or even like a dark purple, and I definitely would not suggest black. Um, Kids, especially teenagers, have such a hard time regulating emotions with all their hormones that are going on. Um, I just think a chill, relaxing, um, welcoming, loving vibe color is like the best for them because they're going to be locked up in that room for like 4 years. At least that's been my experience. I'm trying to think of other examples where colors, clothes, decorating. I think you get the idea. don't get me wrong, I'm not saying those colors are bad. They're very therapeutic in certain situations. And um, another thing you can watch is once you start learning about colors, it's kind of fun because you might have that friend that always wears green. Well, if you look up what green means, then you'll kind of get an idea what their vibe is, right? It's kind of like decoding the color system. I love it. Um, but I'll move on. So another way color can play out is plants, but also a thing about plants is I found myself getting a lot more fake plants in my house because I was never really good at indoor plants. I could do outdoor plants, but not indoor plants. Um, but having living plants in your environment can really affect the energy of your home. And so I started bringing some more plants in, and I've been able to keep a few alive. So I do notice a big difference. Not only are you caring for this plant, um, but it gives off life, grounding energies in your home, and obviously helps with oxygen. And I believe it purifies your energies in your homes as well. And there's certain plants that are better at that than others, but any kind of plant is a great asset in your office area, your home areas, things like that. They're really helpful for keeping your energy in a positive state. I also try to keep live flowers. They really work nice too. Like, especially every flower's got its certain frequency and vibe. Roses are like one of the highest vibing flowers. And so, but anything, there you can tweak your colors and stuff like that too. I hope I'm not cutting in and out on you guys. I feel like I just had a little glitch in my camera. Just getting used to this computer. Um, so that's another thing to think of. Like, say you want a little boost in your environment. Some the kind of flowers I usually end up getting, I'll be completely honest, are like the daisies or the are they daisies? I think it's daisies. They have different colors, right? And so you can get any color you want, and they seem to last forever. If you put the little plant food in the water and clip the stems every few days, they'll last like 2 weeks, and you can get a bundle for like $5. They really add beauty to your environment, and they add positive vibes to your environment. So that's an easy way to boost the energy vibration. So how the vibrations are usually thought about is from low to high, and there's a lot of different studies where they took measurements of different plants, different tissues in your body. Everything that's living has its own frequency, its own unique frequency, okay? So the lower frequencies are going to be kind of what you think of the slower, sluggish kind of frequencies. So it can be like if you're tired, if you're not feeling well, if you're a little down in the dumps, things like that. And then you work your way up um, to the highest frequencies, which are like the bliss and love frequencies. And the higher you can keep your personal frequency, the healthier you're going to be. There, and let me put a little caveat in there. It's important to stay grounded. So grounding will connect you to like the Mother Earth vibe frequency, which is pretty low. But you hook into that, and then once you're grounded, that allows you to reach higher levels of frequencies and health and energy health. And a lot of people will reach these kind of frequencies like when they're meditating and things like that. Like the Tibetan monks, and they like, have been practicing meditation since they were children. They're really good at getting up into those high frequencies. Another thing with energy work and frequencies is when you're grounded and you can open up to those higher frequencies, you can get more downloads from spirit or universe, whatever it is you believe in, and guidance, things like that. Now, that kind of opens up a whole nother can of worms, right? Because some of us are knowers and feelers, and some of us hear things, or, like, you don't have to be meditating to get those downloads. I just want to make that clear. It's just that a lot of people find it easier to do that when they're in a meditative state and they have like an increased frequency in their energy. So another thing that can add, contribute to your energy is the animals as well. We talked about the people in your environments, homes, workplaces, but then also animals. And that can go both ways, but most of the time animals, I would say, are a plus and will um, help you have a positive energy body. Um, there's a lot of people that believe that cats will soak up, kind of like absorb the negative energy. And so, like, say you're having a bad day or something and you have a cat, your cat probably won't leave you alone. And they believe the cats just absorb that energy out of you. It's like they're like an eraser, they soak it up and take it away. Dogs, I believe, and I hope I'm not getting this backwards, but dogs, they are able to absorb the negative energy in your energy field and transmute it and actually transform it into good energy. And so those are the only two animals I really know anything about as far as that goes, but I know that it can definitely be therapeutic, and that's why they have therapy animals, because they definitely help lighten. Like when I think of our vibe getting raised, I think about it kind of lightening, right? And when life's heavy, I feel like it brings you down to a lower vibe. Does that make sense? Okay, I've got notes here because I could talk for hours on this stuff and I'm trying to stay on track a little bit. Another thing that and you can use as a tool to affect your energy is smells and scents. So you're probably fully aware that you might, like, I was at the fair, and so maybe you walk by and smell those, like cotton candy, let's say. That smell could take you back to when you were a kid at the fair with grandma or grandpa or your mom and dad, and the first time you ever went to the fair and had cotton candy, right? Smell is huge for memories, and then the memories bring emotions, and those emotions cause shifts in your energy, okay? So it can also, so the smells can trigger negative or positive memories, which could have a negative or positive effect on your energy body, okay? Because I'm sure there's people where, like for me, I might smell like somebody will walk by me and they'll have a cologne on that maybe one of my ex-boyfriends wore like back in high school, right? And it's like, boom, I'm back there and I'm like, it's almost like I'm back in time, you know what I mean? And then I'm like, oh, okay, okay, I gotta get out of there because I thought maybe I don't want to be thinking about that or remembering that because maybe that was not a pleasant um, time in my life and my right. Um, so it can be good, it can be bad, but knowing that you can use that to help regulate your energy health. So, for instance, like I have a diffuser, and so I have all sorts of different essential oils I can put in this diffuser. Now, say I want to concentrate because I'm writing a class, then I'll put a blend in that's for clarity, let's say. Or maybe I'm brainstorming, so then I put in a blend that's for creativity or downloads. Or maybe I'm gonna meditate, so then I'll use like a higher vibing, like lotus oil. Or um, if you're interested in oils, you can Google oils and just kind of try some out. The one thing I will tell you is that there's a difference. There's a big difference in quality of oils, and it's really important that you know the difference between there's oils that are for aromatherapy only, okay? And and that's just great, and that's usually where people start out. But then when you start learning about aroma or learning about essential oils, you can put oils on your skin. There's some oils that you can ingest. You have to be really careful that you make sure that whatever brand of oil that is says that it's okay, and I would double check like their websites and stuff, okay? Because there are people that have accidentally used like the aromatherapy grade oil on their skin, and you're not going to have the same effects. And honestly, you could have some allergic things and things like that, right? So you're pretty safe aromatherapy wise if you just put them in a diffuser and whatnot. But if you get into them more and you start using them topically, or are looking for the ones that you can ingest, make sure you look into them because not all oils are created the same. That being said, they've been a huge tool for me. Um, in many ways, I use them all the time now. And I have friends that wake up every morning and they pick one to work with because they'll just intuitively pick one, and that's the one they have on all day long. And they can just put you in a whole different state of mind. So, essential oils. Also, incense. There's many, many, many kinds of incense. And those work well too to put you in a certain states. And they kind of say on them, like maybe, trying to think now, because there's some that say, I think with the incense, it's more, they're so different now. If you're looking for certain, if you're looking to achieve a certain energy outcome, like when we were talking about the oils, like clarity and things like that, you might have to Google it and be like, okay, which things, which scents are for this and which scents are for that, right? It's not that hard. There's tons of information on it out there. I found a couple brands that I really like, and I'm sure you will too. But especially when you're starting out, don't worry, just kind of, you can intuitively pick two. Like, be like, oh, I like this. This makes me feel calm. Like, I'm going to get this one. And, you know, at night when I'm having my wind down time, I'm going to light my incense. And that's just fine. You don't have to be like a PhD on any of this stuff, especially when you're getting started. In fact, there's so many good candles and air fresheners out there now that you can even start there, and they work great as well. The main thing is intention, and once you start focusing on your energy health and you start taking these little I call them like energy breaks. I had a different word for it, but I can't think of it now. But when you sit and you're like, okay, I'm gonna have my calm moment now with my incense or my oils, or whatever, and you're making that intention to make it a priority to you, your energy health. That's the main thing. Just that you start doing that is going to be huge for your energy health. Okay. Other things. So sounds. Sounds are huge. And I'm learning more and more about sound therapy. Um, there's many instruments, tuning forks, sound bowls, um, rattles, triangles, crystals. Um, I can't even really that's just the tip of the iceberg, okay? And those are specifically used for certain energy practices. Um, and so they're pretty, like, if you're just getting started, back it up to more like music. Like, pay attention to the words of the music you're listening to. Like, say you're listening to the radio, right? Like, are these songs uplifting songs? Are these songs angry songs? Are these songs depressing songs? Are these songs motivating songs, right? Like, really be mindful of what you're putting into your energy field. Um, if you're not feeling motivated, look up a motivational playlist, say on YouTube or Pandora or whatever. Play that music if you're looking for motivation. It'll be huge. You'll be so surprised. Um, if you're feeling kind of sluggish or not so happy, I know people are going to get mad when I say this, but I can't listen to country when I'm like that because a lot of the country to me is kind of depressing. And I don't, you know what I mean? And not all of it, but a lot of it, I feel like. And of course, it depends on what timeline of country music you're listening to, right? And they have that in all kinds. Rock music, you have your uplifting, you've got your kind of more sad songs, you've got your love ballads, right? Like, pay attention to that stuff. When I first started paying attention, I didn't realize how much sad music I was listening to. And once I started changing my music playlists and whatnot, things really start changing when you quit constantly putting a certain mood into your, like, you don't even realize that you're driving down the road, right? And your thoughts are just going, going, going. But if you've got that music in the background and it's like, say, sad music or angry music, that's all affecting you, whether you're realizing it or not. Okay? So, music, sound, singing and dancing, that has to do with sound and movement because you're moving air and emotions when you're singing, you're moving energy when you're moving your body and dancing. All that helps your energy body. When you have a life impact or trauma, the way I understand it and believe to be true is that those emotions kind of find a place to hide in your body, like in your muscle and in your tissues and in your cells. And so when you're moving, whether you're dancing, walking, stretching, massages are great for this. It's opening up those tissues and allowing, when you feel safe and when you feel like you're in a safe place in your life, it allows those traumas and emotions and things to come up closer to the surface to be released. So movement is huge. Singing works the same way because you're moving air, and of course music is attached to emotion, so you can move out a lot of emotions that way through your air and breathing. Breath work is huge um, for your energy, and there's a lot of healing uses for breath work. I have personally used the breath work a lot with my anxiety issues that I have. um, I don't really want to own that like that, but I have dealt with anxiety off and on throughout my life. Let's put it that way. And the breathing techniques I've learned have really helped a lot with that because I learned, and I love this analogy, but with anxiety, if you rearrange the letters, you can spell any exit. And that rang really true with me because it feels like you need to get out of wherever you are, or you need to stop whatever's happening, or you need to escape or exit when you have anxiety. At least that's how it is for me. And so once I realized that, and I learned about breath work, and I started doing the breath work. I also do tapping for anxiety. That'll be another Monday musing. Um, but with the breathing, you'll notice when you get stressed out or anxious, your breathing gets shallow and fast. It's like short and shallow and fast, okay? When you're calm, your breath is deep and slow. So you'll notice, like, when people are trying to get you to calm down, like, say at the doctor, they'll be like, take slow, deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth, right? Because your breathing is affected by your energy and your mental status, but your breathing can also reversely control and affect your mental status. So you can use it the other way, right? So say you're noticing yourself feeling nervous or stressed out. Go to your breathing and start taking slow, deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. Another one I use a lot is box breathing. It's when you inhale for a count of four, hold it for a count of four, exhale for a count of four, hold it for a count of four. And then I do that at least 4 times. And that a lot of times will reset your nervous system. You can do it more times if you need to. So I got a little off track there. So breathing is another thing that can help maintain your energy or restore your energy back to like equilibrium, right? Because I always feel like peace and safety and comfort is like your center energy. Like that to me is a goal to try to keep my energy there. And then obviously once I master that, then there's other levels. But I think it takes a lot just to master trying to stay in that spot, especially when you're just learning. Okay, so other things that can affect, there's so many things that can affect your energy. And so that's why I think it's so important to get these out there so people are aware. So, like things you see. So, social media, and this can be hearing it too, right? Like if you're driving and listening to podcasts or things like that. Um, but also seeing like TV, moving or movies. One thing people don't think about is like when they get home, right? So if you come home and you're constantly looking at your house thinking, man, this is unorganized, or yeah, there sits those 10 projects I haven't done yet, but I'll get to them someday, maybe. Or, oh, there's that, there's that, screwed up spot in the wall that never got fixed. And like all those things that you see, especially the ones you see every day that you don't think about, those all affect your mental body and your energy body. So, for instance, I have like 3 things like a piano stool, and I have a little table and another little piece of furniture that need to be doctored up a little bit, and little wood glue or whatever, and they're good to go, right? Haven't done it yet. I had them sitting there for like a year and a half. I walked by them every day for a year and a half, and every time I seen them, it was like, oh, there's more crap that I have to do that I don't have done. It has an effect on you, right? So I just moved them out into the back shed, and it's like when I get time to do it, I will do it. It's not like I'm gonna forget about them, you know? And if I do, then maybe it's not that important. But at least I'm not looking at it every day, right? Um, and is it Marie Kondo? She talks about decluttering. That's another huge thing. Your inner state is reflected in your outer state and vice versa. So if like your house is really cluttered, then your mental body and your energy is probably really cluttered. And so the cool thing about that is the same as the other things like the breath work. So when you organize and declutter your environment, things in your mental and energy body and emotional body unclutter. So it can affect you, but then you can change it and it will have the opposite effect on you. You know what I mean? So that's kind of why it's tools for you to know this. Like that dirty window at the kitchen window where you wash your dishes every night or whatever. Um, that's really having an effect on your energy. You may not think it is, but it is. So take 5 minutes and clean the damn window, and you will be surprised. That's going to be 10 minutes out of your day every single day where you're not looking at a dirty window saying, God, when am I ever going to have time to clean that damn window? That damn window drives me crazy. You know what I mean? You need to have respect for your thoughts and your energies and your energy body and all those things are affecting it. Um the TV, the social media, the news. I don't think that it's 100% beneficial to like put my head in the sand, right? And not know what's going on around me. But I also refused to listen to the news and I can't, I like 95% of the stuff on there is crap news. It's bad, it's not happy. It doesn't make you excited to be alive. So I quit watching the news probably 4 or 5 years ago. And you know what? If something big happens, I hear about it either through people or there'll be some, it'll be so big that it carries over on different social media platforms, things like that. So if you can watch the news and be neutral, then it probably wouldn't affect you as bad. But if you're watching the news every night going, God, this world's gone to hell in a handbasket, right? Like, oh my God, is there any good news? Like, what kind of world are we living in these days? If you're one of those people, shut off the news. That is having a yucky effect on your energy body and your energy health. And that's like almost it's one of those things that's an every night, every day. Sometimes if you're retired, you're listening to the morning news, you're listening to the noon news, you're listening to the 9 o'clock news. It's not good for you. There's my soapbox on that. um, I covered some of these things. I think I got this side of my list done. Okay, let's move on to feel and touch. So let's say um, your clothes are uncomfortable. Maybe maybe you gained a little weight last winter and now your clothes are tight and they're just too restrictive feeling. That can affect your energy. Do I want to tell you to run out and buy a whole new wardrobe? You know, I don't know. If you can afford it, go for it. I would say go for it. If you can't, then try to find a few main pieces that you know you're going to be wearing all the time and find a comfortable size. I I can't stress that enough. you don't realize it, but you walk around all day in uncomfortable clothes, and then chances are, unless they're just a crappy fabric, which in that case, get rid of it. But if it has to do with how it fits or where it doesn't fit, then you're into body shaming, like subconsciously all day long, and you don't even freaking realize it anymore because it's such a habit. So not good for your energy body. When you take time and you find clothes that fit nice and make you feel good and comfortable, and you can move and do the things you need to do in them without them restricting you, and you don't have that constant like, God, I hate this shirt. Oh God, why did all day long? That's huge. That's a huge, you're lifting a lot of negative energy and getting it out of your world. Okay. So clothes, bed sheets. Do you have to go out and buy the $1,000 bed sheets? No, but find some bed sheets that are comfy. When you crawl into bed at night to sleep, because sleep is so important to your energy body, whether you like the flannel sheets, the microfiber sheets, whatever, as long as they're not like the scratchy ones that drive you crazy, make sure they're comfy sheets at night. Comfortable is huge for your energy. Health. Shoes, huge. Your feet and your hands are huge energy centers. Like there's a spot on your hands and feet for every organ in your body. It's crazy. So make sure you have good shoes on. If you're walking around all the time, make sure you have good supportive shoes on. If you're exercising, make sure you have good tennis shoes on. Um, you have to take care of your feet and you have to have good shoes. That's my plug for that. And I know some people have to dress up for work, but they're coming out with a lot more kinds of dress shoes that aren't like heels and things that are way more comfortable. You're not going to hurt your back. Your feet aren't going to hurt at the end of the day. Let me tell you this though. Until you find your good shoes and whatnot, a really good thing you can do for your feet, if you have to wear heels and things like that all the time, is do an Epsom salt foot soak every night, because that salt will draw the lactic acid and the toxins out of your feet and relieve a lot of pain really fast. That's another one of my tips I'm going to get to here about maintaining your energy. Okay, your chair at work, your ergonomics. Most countries and companies now have an ergonomic team. So if you're sitting uncomfortably at work and you're getting back pains and things like that, look into the ergonomic team, because sometimes it's an easy little shift. Like maybe you need a new chair, maybe you need a footrest. Huge. Pain can wear you out. It wears on your energy body. And a lot of people don't even almost notice how much pain they're actually in. It will make you tired and fatigued and make your life a lot harder. So, if any little ways that you can alleviate certain kinds of pain are huge. And I'm not talking about obviously unhealthy ways, but in healthy ways, in changing your ergonomics, in exercising a little more, maybe taking stretch breaks at work, things like that. We shouldn't be coming home feeling so depleted that we eat supper and pass out on the couch watching TV every night. That's not healthy. That's not good energy health. Okay? If you're stressed out at work all day because you hate your boss or your coworker drives you crazy, look at getting a new job or look at setting better boundaries. Um, there's so much more to life. And maybe learning to do your energetic boundaries and things can help that. And it'd be a good thing to try first. I'm not gonna lie, but I know I'm no spring chicken, right? So I've been in a few situations where I just know things are not gonna get better. And so I know it's when it's my time to leave. And there's always another job. There's always another job. And that's what I'm going to say about that. Okay. Um Other things that can influence is the word I'm looking for, your energy is things a lot of people don't think about, but astrological alignments, like the full moon, the new moon, are the most common. Eclipses, and the more I've been paying attention to it myself, the more I'm learning certain planets moving, things like that can really affect me. Also, solar storms. So let's just say you've got all of a sudden out of the blue, terrible headache. You have no idea why. You're not stressed out. Look up, see if there's any solar storms going on, because those little buggers can affect you more than you even know. And geothermal shifts can also, if you live in a really geothermal area, like Yellowstone's huge for that kind of thing. There's quite a few of them around the world. Those can affect your energy. Um, and then of course, any kind of traumas impacts things like that. Your emotions, um, they can affect. We know they can affect us emotionally and mentally, but they also affect us physically. Like I said, a lot of those energies find places to hide in your muscles, and they really would like to be released, believe it or not, but we usually hold them in because we're scared that when they get released, we have to feel them all over again. That's not necessarily the case, but that's for another Monday musing. Okay, so thoughts, memories, things like that. We kind of touched on that a little bit. Those can affect your energy body. Now, I'm not going to say that it's bad to think of sad or hurtful memories, okay? Because there's a certain amount of healing in some of that sometimes in certain situations and in doing it in a certain way, right? Like people mourn differently. So some people might be like, "Don't be sad. Why are you still sad about that? Why are you thinking about that all the time? That's not good for you, right?" Well, some people mourn differently, right? Like some people go to a funeral, they let it all out there, and they leave it there, and they might never go and cry about that again. Some people can only take it in little doses. So maybe for them, they need to take time out and look at pictures and have their own personal time to mourn. Okay? And that's healthy to release that kind of thing. And there's no time limit and there's no right or wrong way to do it. And don't let anybody tell you there is. Um, where it gets unhealthy is when it's obsessively all the time. Like you can't step away from it. You know what I mean? Um, and I'm talking out like even when it's really, really, really close to you, and I know it can be like so overwhelming that it just envelopes your whole world, right? It's still a good practice to try to take little breaks and remove yourself from the grief and just take a little break from it. You know what I mean? Just a little break. When it's fresh, I know that's really hard to do. Um, just be aware. Just be aware. Um, Only you can decide what's right for you, what's too much and what's not enough, and that kind of thing. But emotions will play a huge, huge role on your energy body and the vibration and the health of your energy body. Your energy body isn't meant to be in grief and sadness constantly, just like you're not meant to be in fight or flight constantly. Um, So I guess what I would suggest there then is just trying to kind of find a balance, between taking breaks and letting yourself grieve. And there's lots of different ways to grieve. Um, and you might find some of those helpful if you Google it. There's different ways to move through things like that. And there's a lot of good ideas um, on the internet to help you out with that. So if you are grieving a loss or loss of relationship, loss of a job, there's a lot of things that we should grieve also in life that we just skip over and don't think about, right? Like when you move, you're gonna miss that house and that memories, and it's healthy to take time to grieve that, not just forget about it and move on to the next thing, right? So it's kind of a thin line there with you have to be able to feel your emotions, but you don't want to let your emotions take over your whole life, right? Um, I talked about the solar storms and memories. Um, One thing with grieving that I've found helpful once you get through that initial, anyone that's grieved knows what I mean. There's like that initial tsunami, right? And then it's kind of like big waves, and then there'll be little waves, and then there'll be another big wave, right? But I try to really remember the happy memories. So I feel like I'm honoring people that way then. Like if I've lost a person, I try to shift from grieving and missing them to honoring them and our memories that we made together. And sometimes that's a nice transition. Um, Mantras have always been really helpful for me too. And that's another thing you can Google, or you can make up your own mantras or affirmations. Um, I'm trying to think of ideas of, I have mostly manifesting. I just lost my words. I'm sorry. My brain went, "Woo." But mantras like I am strong, I am happy, I am resourced. Affirmations, that's what I was looking for. I have more like affirmations and manifesting affirmations, but I have been getting more into mantras because they're like some people pick a mantra every day and then they say it over and over. Some people pick one for a whole year. Some people pick one every month and they put little stickies in their wallet or on their mirror, right? And those really work because those are reprogramming your subconscious. So, say you have a problem with like self esteem and you're getting ready in the morning. You put a little mantra on your mirror that says, I am beautiful, I am lovable, I am resourced, for instance. And then you concentrate on saying that instead of all that negative self talk that you normally would do when you're getting ready in the morning. That's like reprogramming your subconscious. That has a huge effect on your energy body. If you have negative self-talk or body shaming, reprogramming those and doing these positive mantras instead is going to have a huge effect on your energy body. It's amazing. You learning to love yourself has such a beneficial effect on your energy body. It's unexplainable. I can't even begin to explain to you how wonderful that is. Um, Sleep, quality and quantity of sleep. This is huge for your energy body. Um, a lot of people sleep 15 hours a day, but it's shitty sleep. That if you're sleeping 15 hours a day and you're still tired, you're not sleeping well. Um, there's tons of tips and techniques online about how to wind down at night. No phones before you go to bed. Um, no TV in your bedroom. Some people need to exercise before they go to bed. Some people exercise in the morning because it energizes them. There you can also use the diffusers and things too, like lavender is calming. There's a lot of different calming essential oils, low dim lights, and getting into like a ritual or a routine. Obviously, there's health issues also that can play a role in the quality of your sleep. And so that's always something to check out too. Like I had allergies and so I wasn't breathing very good at night for a while. So then, I got like some allergy things like nose spray, things like that. My got my allergy sleep um pillowcases. You know what I mean? Anything that's going to affect your sleep and make your sleep better quality sleep is a total great investment in your health all the way around. Don't downplay sleep. One of the biggest contributing factors to unstable mental health is lack of quality and quantity sleep. Sleep is huge, your diet is huge. The food and the substances that you put into your body is huge for your energy body. Water, our body is like 70% water. Most of us walk around dehydrated. If we drink coffee, soda, I can almost guarantee you that you're dehydrated. They want you to drink, I think it's a gallon of water a day to stay hydrated. Um, there's a few other tweaks to that too, right? Like you have to have some electrolytes sometimes too, because otherwise you drink all this water and it doesn't really do anything. So you're gonna have to start by increasing your water, decreasing your caffeine, and then dig into it a little more and make sure you're getting like your nutrients that you need because water is a huge conductor of energy and energy is like electricity. Um, and if you're dehydrated, everything's moving slower. It's not working at optimal levels, right? So the more water you can drink, the better. And if you need to put it in a mermaid cup, Jenna, thank you for the mermaid cup. Um, do it. Whatever you gotta do to my screen is like glitching on here on my computer. I hope I'm not glitching for you guys. I'm trying to use my laptop for these lives now because I can see comments and things better, but the last time I used one, I had a kind of glitchy thing too, so I don't know. I might be going back to the phone next week. Okay, yoga, stretching, all that stuff is great for opening up muscles and cells and moving energy. Energy likes to move. It always wants to be moving. Your body has all these energy pathways and meridians and chakras, and if it's not moving, it's getting stuck or slowed down somewhere, and then that's usually where you have pain or injuries. And if you ignore it long enough, you can start to get dis-ease, and then you can start to get disease, okay? So that's another big reason why I am such an advocate for energy health. So, mantras and affirmations are great. Um, Great tools to help reprogram some of that negative self-talk stuff and turn it into positive. That's huge for your energy, health. And then another thing you're going to notice is that a lot of people call them triggers. Certain situations might bring a certain emotion or feeling or energy up inside of you, or even certain people. Okay? Have you ever had those people that like walk by you and you're like, whew, like, I don't know who that is, but I don't want to be around them, right? Or maybe you see something that reminds you of a trauma that happened to you, right? Those kind of things will trigger conditioned, like I call them conditioned trauma responses, right? Or just that's what we're going to go with right now, conditioned trauma responses. And some of them have been conditioned in our nervous system since we were little bitty kids. Most of our conditioned nervous system responses were set up in our bodies before we were 10 years old. And we had no idea it was happening, and none of our parents had any idea it was happening either. So we're kind of in this new age of starting to learn about emotional health and energy health. And you'll always see me advocating on stopping the war against emotions because my generation, my parents' generation, my grandparents' generation in the Midwest, like emotions weren't even a thing, and for so many years, women just were crazy or they were too much or they were over the top and God forbid a man has emotions because that's the biggest sign of weakness in the whole wide world. Obviously, I don't believe that, but that's the kind of stuff that has come down through our generations. It got all tweaked out and messed up somewhere in there because it wasn't like that like way back. Like if you think of like in native cultures and the tribal cultures and the Celtic cultures and um it was okay to get angry. It was okay to be sad. It was okay to mourn. Like and then somewhere in there things got all messed up. But we're coming back to that. And you go obviously from one extreme to the other and that's how shit changes in life. And I remember thinking a few years ago there was the crying rooms for the college kids and I can't exactly remember what that was for again, but I think it was something political. And I thought, oh my God, what the hell? Crying rooms? We never had crying rooms. I'm a Gen Xer. So if any of you guys are on social media, I'm sure you've seen all the Gen X BS. And I'm calling it BS because the truth is we were traumatized children and we don't know how to deal with our emotions either. And so apparently a lot of people like to make fun of the newer generations who are actually the smart ones that are learning how to have emotional health and have it be healthy to have emotions and feel emotions and learning how to process and navigate emotions. I just seen a meme the other day and I loved it. It says, don't treat your children how to not be angry. Teach them how to be angry. Everybody has feelings and we have them for a reason and they're all valid. They're all valid. And so, um, I would say for my generation and older, most of us weren't allowed to have feelings. And if we did have feelings, we were made fun of or punished even. And so the younger generations, thank God, are smarter than we were. And they're being taught how to do emotions. Okay. And so I believe we need to learn from them and we need to learn our own selves and we need to teach as many people as we can because I feel like this is like the main epidemic in the world right now is the war on emotions. And I really hope that changes because to be able to have healthy emotional experiences is huge. Like, we're all going to grieve, we're all going to get sad, we're all going to get mad. And if we aren't able to express those emotions in a healthy way, they just get stuck. And that's when we start to have problems. So, there's my little soapbox about that. If you're a fellow Gen Xer like I am, and you know what? We're survivors. I'm going to give us that. We're survivors, right? Because we were the first generation of kids that were latchkey kids that would come home from school every day with no parents. We'd make our own supper. It's true. All the things they said that we did, we did. But we were kids and we didn't want to do that. But also, our parents had to both work in order to maintain a family. And that's a whole nother ball game. So what I'm trying to say is I'm not blaming parents. And I'm not and our experiences were valid. But let's give these younger generations a little credit and a little grace for learning how to healthily express and navigate emotions. And let's learn a little bit from them, so that we can heal and we can be our healthiest self mentally, emotionally, energetically, physically. Those emotions need to come out. And I know we're scared of that, but the more we learn about it, the less scary it's going to be. Okay, so now I'm going to give you some practices. I've given you a lot of information. I was just looking. Yeah, I'm at an hour, 20 minutes already. Okay. I kind of didn't know if I was going to keep going for over an hour or not, but I guess I am. So, some of the easy practices to start with for maintaining your energy health and protecting your energy health. A big one is first awareness. So, every morning when you wake up, just take a moment, put your hand on your heart, close your eyes, and breathe. That will help you center after you take a few breaths and you feel calm and centered. Then many people call in angels, archangels, Michael. Um, there's lots of different ones people call in. You can call in God, energy, whatever you believe in, universal energy, and just sit. It just only takes a few minutes every morning. And you visualize white light starting to surround your body, like you're in a white light, a bubble of white light. And then you can bring in different colors if you want to, like blue light's a really common one. And you just imagine your energy body and you imagine it getting filled in like this encapsulated with white and blue love and light energy around you. And you imagine it being encapsulated, okay? And you can even say to yourself that you will allow in the good and repel the bad energies, okay? You can say that to yourself. Doing that every morning makes you more aware. And then when you start feeling things like, say, you're going throughout your day and all of a sudden you're like, ugh, I don't know, what am I feeling? Like, I don't like it, whatever it is, right? Pay attention. Who's around you? What's going on around you? Where are you? Are you in a doctor's office where everybody's anxious or sad or stressed out? Beef up your bubble again. Just take a minute to center, surround yourself in that energy. Okay, and you can do that as many times a day as you need to. Um, I'm not saying that you're never going to have bad feelings that are your own, but I'm going to tell you probably 80% of the time, the yuck shit you're feeling is coming from other people or other things going on around you. So if you can cut that out of your life, it's huge. Huge. So, another thing that I do often is what I call energy showers. And so, especially for us ladies, right? We're like into this thing now where we don't wash our hair every day. Or we just don't have time to wash it because then it's this big old long process before we can go on to do our next thing, right? So I call them energy showers. But just taking a shower cleanses and gets rid of any energies that you have maybe picked up during the day or since, your last shower or since you did your last bubble or and a lot of times if I have a few minutes, I plug the tub when I take a shower and I throw some Epsom salts in there. They have some that have essential oils in there as well, so I like doing those, like the clarity ones. And this whole energy shower, I'm probably in the water for 5 minutes, if that, okay? I've got my essential oil salt. I've got my salt taking any impurities out through my feet. And then I've got the water that's cleansing, and it It washes all the energy off. Um, and I know people that do that multiple times a day. Another great one that I love is the salt baths. Obviously, those take a little more time. Um, I don't use the scented, excuse me, essential oil salts for that. If I want some scents, smells in the room when I'm taking my salt bath, I'll light a candle or have a diffuser or things like that. But I'll just use Himalayan pink salts or just straight Epsom salts. It helps ground you, it helps take out any impurities in your body. Um, and then make sure I always rinse off afterwards, like with a little shower, because I feel like the salt kind of dries out my skin if I don't rinse it off. Um, there's also an aura dusting where you just kind of use your hands and go around your body in like a sweeping motion and sweep it out away from your body. You can do that, and then when you're done, do this and clean your energy off your hands. I know that helps me a lot sometimes. You can sage, or you can use eucalyptus, um, smudging basically. You can use whatever you want. I know a lot of people don't like sage. And so you just light a little bit and then it smokes, and you can, waft the smoke around your body. Also, moving helps cleanse your energy. So, like, say you go for a walk, that'll also help move energy. Um, I feel like I'm forgetting something really. Oils can help cleanse, like essential oils. You can, what do they call that? When you like put it here, here, here. Anoint. You can anoint with essential oils. And those are my main go-tos for cleansing your energy. And so a lot of times when you work with clients or patients or whatever, especially if you're doing energy work, these things are huge. Oh, that's the other one. So a lot of people have these rebounders. They're like mini trampolines. I feel like I'm glitching again. That's also a good way to like cleanse your energy field because you bounce on them. They're like a little mini trampoline. Those work really good too. Those are my main go-tos for the cleansing throughout the day is the energy shower, the aura dusting, the saging or smudging, and then the movement, like the rebounder or say go for a quick little walk. So if you work on maintaining that bubble, and then when you feel like things are kind of yuck, like maybe something's kind of stuck in your aura, you can do the aura cleansing and these little things. And then it's really paying attention and changing your environment, changing your thought patterns, and a little bit at a time. You'll be so surprised. Just little bitty baby steps, and eventually you're going to notice a difference. And then once you notice it's working, you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm totally getting into this. And then you'll start paying more attention and you'll finding new tips and to help you get through your day. I also know I want to comment this too, is that a lot of people don't like social media. And and I know a lot of my friends on social media have gotten to the point where we have just flooded our social media with positive, uplifting feeds and pages and people, and I don't even have anything negative pop up on my Facebook feed anymore. Um, and so for me, it's a good experience. And I know some people, you like this and you like that, and pretty soon, there's negative stuff on your social media things too. And just go back through if you want to change that and unlike and unfollow certain things, and that will make a big difference in your social media feeds. I'm on Instagram and YouTube, if you guys didn't know that. if you go to my website, the links are on there for those sites as well. I'm going to start posting videos on YouTube. I'm hoping to figure out how to do these lives and then post them to YouTube as well. I'm still having a learning curve, but we're getting there. I really hope that this has been some good information for some of you. Please let me know if it was helpful or if you learned anything new or if I reminded you of something you knew once but kind of forgot about. And let me know. It would be so great if you just picked out one little thing that I talked about today, and tried it and practiced it, and then came back and let me know how that worked out for you and if it benefited you and the kind of things you noticed. Okay. All right, my friends. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. I'll come back and check and answer your questions. I mean, it doesn't even matter. If you're watching this a week or so from now, a month or so from now, I'll still see your questions and come on and answer them, okay? So, thanks for hanging out with me and spending this time with me. And next week is what the hell are chakras, anyways? I believe is our topics for next week, and that's when I'm gonna give you a little intro into the chakra system and a little bit about chakras. And so if you're interested in that, I hope to see you on Monday, or I hope you get to catch the replay. You guys have a wonderful week, and cheers to your energy health and learning more and taking steps to be a healthier you. Have a wonderful week.